Evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's special presentation. Tonight, we recognize September as National Preparedness Month. Accepting this proclamation is Fire Chief Jesse Park, along with Office of Emergency Management and Volunteer Services Division Manager Diana Rocket. Would you please join me? Chief. Oh, great. About your team. Please. Each September, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, calls on cities across the nation to highlight the importance of preparedness. Preparedness doesn't have to be complicated. It starts with practical steps: registering for Alert Movell, creating a family plan, and staying connected with your neighbors. These small actions can make a difference during an emergency. Residents can also visit ready.com for additional resources to build supply kits, strengthen communication plans, and stay ready for whatever may come. By declaring September as National Preparedness Month, the City Council urges every resident to take action. Prepared communities are stronger communities, and together we can make Moreno Valley more resilient. I now present this proclamation recognizing September 2025 as National Preparedness Month. This proclamation reads as follows. September is recognized nationwide as Disaster Preparedness Month, reminding individuals, families, and businesses of the importance of being ready before an emergency strikes. Here in Moreno Valley, our Office of Emergency Management leads this mission every day, providing free resources online, offering fire suppression classes, community emergency response team training, and all hazards courses in both English and Spanish. Preparedness looks different for everyone, and this is why our residents are encouraged to visit moval.org/OEM to find resources that fit their needs, whether it's preparing seniors, caring for pets, or supporting individuals with disabilities. When disaster happens, staying informed is critical. That's why every resident and business should register for Alert Movell, a free service that delivers real-time updates by phone, text, or email before, during, and after an emergency. Therefore, the City of Moreno Valley proclaims September 2025 as Disaster Preparedness Month and calls on all residents to take action, stay informed, and strengthen our community's resilience. Jesse, Diana, would you like to share a few words this evening?
Thank you. Council members, city leaders, first of all, thank you for your support, because without you, we could not carry this mission forward as dedicated as we are able to, given the staff and support that we have. So it starts with you. So thank you. To members of the community, it's very simple. Start small. Don't try to do it all at once. Just remember, make a kit, have a plan, and stay informed. Thank you.
Thank you for your leadership and your commitment to keep our city safe. Let me hand you. This I did afterwards, right? Okay. We do the picture, and then I say this concludes. Sure.
And 1, 2, 3.
Chief, your eyes open?
Do one more for safety.
One more for safety.
Maybe not. And 1, 2, 3. Here we go.
Thank you.
Congrats, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. This concludes tonight's special presentations for the evening. The council will reconvene at 6 p.m. for tonight's regular meeting. Good evening and welcome to the joint meeting of the City Council of the City of Moreno Valley Community Services District Board of Directors, City as a successor agency for the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Moreno Valley Housing Authority Board of Directors, Moreno Valley Public Financing Authority, Board of Library Trustees, and the Moreno Valley Community Foundation Board of Directors. The City Council receives a separate stipend from the Community Services District if any CSD business is conducted at the meeting. I now call this meeting to order on September 2nd, 2025 at 6:04 p.m. And I invite Councilmember Delgado to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and I ask that you remain standing for the invocation given by Pastor David Rivera from Oasis Community Church.
Please join me by placing your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, residents of Moreno Valley, city staff, council members, and Pro Tem Mayor. Thank you for the opportunity of bringing this evening's invocation. Would you please join me as we go before the Lord? Lord of all, this evening I want to start by thanking you, for your faithfulness is evident throughout all our city. Once again, Lord, this chamber is active with the business of the people. Our elected officials and all their supporting staff and the various departments are meeting to discuss topics which will impact our city and the residents of Moreno Valley. My prayer is that as this meeting unfolds this evening, that there is a spirit of harmony and unity for the good of all people, that the agenda items listed and the public comments that will be shared will work together for the betterment of our city. The decisions made, the actions taken, that they would go in line with our vision of community-built, destiny-driven. That is our hope, that our communities are built on trust, safety, wholeness, and the prosperity so that destiny and our purpose here is long-lasting. Lord, just a few short weeks ago, many of us gathered in the auditorium next door. We paused for an afternoon to celebrate the many achievements of the past year, and we heard some of the plans that are in the future for our city. Thank you for your protection over the past year and the strength to work towards those accomplishments. But soon after the festivities, the work began, and the team was back to work. Looking forward to another year that will have challenges, struggles, and yes, achievements. So Lord, grant us strength, wisdom, understanding, and a spirit of respect and service as we continue to move forward. Your word says that we should pray for our communities that we live in, that they would be well, that they would be safe, and that they would prosper. And you tell us to live in those cities and to build homes and to plant fields and to work for the good of all people, because as the community prospers, so do we. So again, Lord, I ask for your protection over our children, our youth, our senior citizens, over all the residents regardless of their stature, for our law enforcement, for the fire department, for the medical field, for all the businesses large and small, for our parks and roads to be safe. And I pray for the body of officials and their staff gathered here this evening, that they would execute their duties justly for all the people of Moreno Valley, that all of us as residents of this community build, that we build relationships, families, we build businesses, and build a city that is blessed by God, for it is in God we trust. I pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor David, for a thoughtful and beautiful prayer. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Santa Cruz. Councilmember Bernard,
Here.
Councilmember Gonzalez,
Here.
Councilmember Delgado,
Here, ma'am.
and Mayor Pro Tem Santa Cruz.
Here.
Thank you. And the mayor is absent today.
Thank you. Item E is motions to excuse absences. Has the mayor requested his absence be excused?
No, he has not.
Okay, moving on to item F, staff introductions.
Patty Rodriguez, City Clerk.
Sonia Gomez, Senior Deputy City Clerk.
Stephen Quintanilla, City Attorney.
Brian Mohan, City Manager.
Lonnie Jimenez, Assistant City Manager of Administration.
Dina Hill, Chief Financial Officer, City Treasurer.
Sean Kelleher, Assistant City Manager Development. Angelica Fraustilipo, Community Development Director.
Melissa Walker, Director of Public Works.
Jeremy Bubnick, Director of Parks and Community Services.
Robert Cardenas, Human Resources Director.
Jesse Park, Fire Chief.
Chris Gaskins, Lieutenant.
Thank you. The next item is the approval of the order of the agenda. I'll now entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, voice vote, please.
Thank you. Councilmember Bernard,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilmember Delgado,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Baca Santa Cruz.
Yes.
Thank you.
The next item is public comments on matters not on the agenda. Bless you. The city now offers language translation services through a free app called Wordly. The app automatically translates a variety of languages into English and vice versa. To use this service, please scan the QR code at the speaker's sign-up table. For the visually impaired, please use your earphones or earbuds to listen to the verbal translation. If you do not have such listening devices, please let the city clerk know you need to borrow one for the meeting.
La ciudad ahora ofrece servicios de traducción de idiomas a través de una aplicación gratuita llamada Wordly. Si gustan usar este servicio, avísele a la secretaria y entregue una tarjeta para hablar. Para usar la traducción, escanee el código QR que está en la mesa junto a la puerta.
Before we move on to the public comments, I want to remind everyone to direct their comments to the City Council. For comments on items not on tonight's agenda, each speaker will have a total of 3 minutes to comment. Madam Clerk, are there any requests to comment on any items not on the agenda?
The first speaker is Christopher Baca.
Good afternoon, community, staff, and elected officials. On the news today, we had Governor Newsom and Kamala Harris that he's going to divert funds from the Highway Patrol over for her personal security. And I think that's pretty outrageous, being she's one of the big proponents of the progressive agenda for the state, being, she's for social justice, she's for helping the disadvantaged, and keeping money from being funneled to a special interest. She's a millionaire. She can afford her own security detail. And why is that important to Moreno Valley? Like I said before, we got the rhinos, we got the Dinos. Rhinos are Republicans in name only, Democrats in name only. In particular here, what I'm getting at is our Pino, is our progressives in name only. And we have three candidates, three incumbents that are going to be running for re-election that wave the progressive flag, but yet one of our flagships of the progressive agenda is Citizens United, to overturn Citizens United and dark money. But yet, the city is so corrupt with special interests and doing all these favors for dark money and corruption, and nobody says anything. You're sitting up there, you progressives are sitting up there. What's the point of you being here? What is the point of even having a city council? You may as well move the city to Highland Fairview corporate office and just have them write the agenda and just have them just approve it on the internet. I mean, there's a lot of corruption going on. We just went through that thing that they want to incorporate more Highland Fairview BS. It's all BS. And you guys are just going to rubber stamp it and not say anything. And, just because you're afraid that Highland Fairview is going to run a candidate against you or whatever the case may be. It's shameful. And I really hope you get on the bandwagon, especially Cabrera, the mayor, who's on the Progressive Caucus and the Hispanic Caucus. He's a lame duck doing absolutely nothing for the city. Thank you.
We are now going to move on to our joint consent calendar, Section I. Before I open the consent calendar for public comment, I ask my fellow council members if there are any items they wish to remove from the consent calendar for separate action.
Mayor Pro Tem Baca Santa Cruz, we do have one more public comment for items not on the agenda.
Okay,
Yes.
let's call that person.
Luis Palomares.
Luis Palomares, thank you, Pastor, for that prayer. Needed. 40 years, we're still in it. 40 years, we're still stuck. 40 years, we can't go forward. We're like in Egypt. We're trying to get out of Egypt still. You know, the people over there in Riverside have had us, like, you know, we can't go forward because they take it all. When are we going to get our chance here? When are we going to get our turn here? When are we going to be able to get on the ground floor and get a piece of the pie? When? Well, we got a mayor that's always, you know, doing away with projects. If it's not his thing and his pal right here, Councilmember Gonzalez, you know, they voted away a good project, and I'll keep on saying it. The good project Hillwood would have brought us so much. The staff was doing everything they needed to do to make it happen. They did their job. But no, Cabrera sent that away. But he'd rather spend money on $40,000 art pieces all over our city, $25,000 art pieces, his little Mickey Mouse libraries, you know, to put on his propaganda page when he's running. Look what I did. I built a library here. Storefront libraries? Come on. How many? It costs money to staff them. It costs money to rent the building. It costs money to keep it maintained. And we're paying rent forever when we could have put the money into a state-of-the-art library. He can't think out of the box. And all those little Mickey Mouse libraries, he put the union built for him, that was money we spent again. All this money spending on what and for what? You know, it's time to get into the 21st century. You know, it really is. When are we going to wake up and look at the big picture? When are we going to do what we need to do and get everybody out of our city that don't belong here so we can go forward and make it happen? There's so many projects that have been chased off. Like today, one of the developers are here for one of those coffee shops. You know, come on. They're doing everything they need to do, and here we're sending away and sending the messages, hey, don't come here. We're not ready to play the game here. But what about the people? We need those tax dollars. We need those revenue dollars. We need a lot of stuff. We don't got to keep on spending on $40,000, what the heck I was going to call them, golly, I'm so upset. $40,000 art pieces. Let's get a library going, a real library, not these Mickey Mouse libraries. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, that concludes all of public comments on.
No, you're not.
Roy Blecker.
Go ahead, Mr. Blecker. Go ahead and start. It's 3 minutes. Thank you.
I think you were stalling just so I could get over here. And again, I've said it a lot. I was thinking about it on the drive over, on the long drive over. And I go back to 40 years ago when this city started. Man, these rooms were packed. You had people from all walks of life. Every corner of this community was here because they were concerned about it. I just see that slipping away day after day. At the crime syndicate last week, it was just me and Fred that commented. Do you think our schools, where 3 out of 4 kids in Moreno Valley are not at grade level in reading, writing, and arithmetic, you think this community must think it's acceptable. This body must think it's acceptable. The County Board of Supervisors, state, must think that's acceptable because they're not saying anything about it. We should do a comparative analysis of the last 5 years of the communities, cities in the Inland Empire. Comparative per capita on where we were 5, 6 years ago compared to now, just in the Inland Empire, and see where we rank. It's not about numbers. The state of California can beat practically any state in anything on raw numbers, versus if you're talking Idaho or Rhode Island. But we don't see an honesty in our system. We see it coming back. We see it today when the mayor of Washington, D.C., Joe Scarborough, former congressman, now on a very left-wing station, and has been, was one of the guys that was sitting there lying to us, telling how great Joe Biden is a genius when we knew he wasn't. And all of them have said today, they asked the governor of Illinois to come in and clean up the city. The people of Chicago are asking it. We all should be asking it. We all should be working and striving to make everything a better place.
Mayor Pro Tem, that concludes all of public comments on items not on tonight's agenda.
That's coffee. The public is now invited to comment on the items. Let me see. We're now going to move to the joint consent calendar. Before I open the consent calendar for public comment, I ask my fellow council members, are there any items that you would wish to pull for separate action? Seeing none, the public is now invited to comment on the items on the consent calendar for a total of 3 minutes. Madam Clerk, are there any requests to speak on any consent calendar items?
The first 3 speakers are Russell Schaefer, followed by Seth Cox, followed by Riley Peak.
I found some facts. Hopefully everybody out there listens to this. So, report of action from closed session, if anybody, by city attorney. City attorney reported the following on D3. The item dealing with existing litigation known as Elmer Robbins Thomas Jr. visits Ulysses Cabrera, an individual. In the city of Moreno Valley, a municipal entity, the city council voted 3-1 with Mayor Cabrera recusing himself due to a potential financial conflict of interest. On this item, the council voted 3-1 with Mayor Pro Tem Elena Baca Santa Cruz, Council Member Ed Delgado, Council Member Shalinda Bernard voting yes, with Council Member Alin Gonzalez voting no. To offer a settlement to Mr. Elmer Thomas to dismiss the city from the federal case he filed against the city and Mr. Cabrera, and not indemnify Mr. Cabrera as he was sued in his individual capacity. Thank you. Cabrera, I hope you listen to this out there too. Thank you.
The next 3 speakers are Seth Cox, followed by Riley Peak, followed by, that's it.
Good evening, council, staff. Couple of topics. I guess I get to speak on both of them at the same time. I-5, the master attendance log. I'm not against it by any means, but I would like to request a couple of updates. If we're going to publish a shame board, okay, whatever you want to call it, it needs to be transparency all around, including council members, okay? If you're going to put a chart like this in the public thing, there should be one for the council. the meetings they attend, the meetings they miss, which ones are canceled. I'd also like to request that the appointed council member to each one of the commissions be listed there too on when they attend those meetings. I know you're only required to spend one a year, but I'd like to see you do one a quarter personally. But transparency across the board, all right? If you're going to do it for one group, commissioners that are volunteers, and adults, by the way, you don't need to teach them like high schoolers, and the elected officials. So that's I-5. Let's go to I-8 real quick. I-8 is the homeless pilot program, rolling it into third year and fourth year. I'm for it. I think it has been a benefit. I think it worked out for the 3 that got it the first 2 years. I am biased a little bit. I work with 2 of them that are on the list, okay, regularly. And I interact with the other 2. They're doing great things. We all know it's a big problem, okay? Homelessness, unhoused, people in need. So I'm for it, and I wish that you all would vote for it tonight. Thanks.
The next 2 speakers are Riley Peak and Christopher Baca.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council. I just want to talk on I-6 and I-10. So for I-6, I really support this idea. It's really cool to see us teaching our residents about Moreno Valley and what their local government does. Just a couple of ideas I had is we should consider a more inclusive name for the program, like maybe Moreno Valley Residents Academy instead of Citizens Academy. Just that way we can be inclusive of all of the great people in Moreno Valley who are valuable parts of this city. And then I would love to see a program like this for Moreno Valley's youth, just because our youth are our future leaders and we should be developing them and their civic education skills. Just because we are requiring government in class, this would be an amazing idea for high schools to offer to their students and select some people who get to have that real world experience in government. And I just think that this is a valuable and strategic initiative that will just enhance our residents' engagement and our transparency and all the transparency of the city. And then for I-10, the MOU of the decommissioned aircraft, I think this is really awesome how we're getting a decommissioned aircraft in one of our brand new parks, especially since this park is very unique and it's one of the first of its kinds in the state of California. And it will definitely make the new flight deck park a destination for not only our community, but across the world and country. And it will be a powerful symbol of our connection as Moreno Valley to the March Air Reserve Base. And it will just be a really exciting new park, and I'm looking forward to its opening. And then also on I-5, I support that. All of our residents should be able to know exactly if their commissioners are actually showing up to represent them. Commissioners are the voice of the people when it comes to lots of the debate, when it comes to items. And it's really important that commissioners are there, and this is just another thing that will help ensure that they do show up and that they do serve their community and that we can have quorums at our meetings. So thank you.
The next speaker is Christopher Baca.
Good evening, community again. What I'm referring to is item I-12, which reads authorization to award a construction contract for the Iris Avenue Corridor Safety Improvement Project. And this is just a FYI to the community on how our corrupt individuals here in our city fatten up or put in stuff to the agenda where people are unaware that they're doing developer special interests favors. Not necessarily this one, but it could be. A lot of the stuff that they did previously on on Nason, between Iris and Cactus, that was intentionally and done to benefit the developer. They put in electrical wiring and all that for his projects, and they fatten it up and make it look pretty as something else. This may be the same thing. I don't know the specifics, but it's probably just to furtherly improve the project for that Aquabella. that's been going on. All the people that's lived in the city probably are aware of the BS on the Aquabella, and it's always, the lawsuits. Yeah, he puts them in himself, and it's just screwing the city over. And all that money can be used for employees. You can hire more people. You can hire more police. You can improve the city, but yet you're just giving it to a developer. The same thing is going on with the World Logistics Center. You're putting in all these things for him, and now we have a third project that's going to be to incorporate off of Gilman Springs. How in the hell are you going to put 8,000 houses and all these businesses on off of Gilman Springs? Give me a break. That's all BS, and the city continues and continues and continues doing this stuff and fattening up your agenda with this nonsense. And people just they don't see it, they overlook it, and I don't know what the heck the purpose of some of the mayor, particularly, what's his point? He doesn't even show up, or when he does show up, all he does is rubber stamp. He's not looking into any of this stuff. Like I said again, just move City Hall to Highland Fairview's corporate office.
Mayor Pro Tem. That concludes all the public comments on items on the agenda.
Do we have any more public comments?
Luis Palomares.
Luis Palomares, community activist. Wow, I'm glad they brought this up, because why did we even defend the fool, our mayor? Why? It was a baseless case. All the money we paid, and now he wants us to pay for the other part of it? Hell no. How much money did we spend defending him in court when he lost in court? The case was baseless, based on lies and propaganda and everything else. And trample over their First Amendment right. They haven't been to meetings in almost 2 years because of this. He put a chill on them. And look where we're at. Money, we've spent how much money? Who can give me the numbers? How much money we spent defending him the first time around? But now he wants to come back to the table and want us to defend him on the second round with I believe, another court. So, I'm glad the council decided to do the right thing for the right reason. But he's gotten away with so much in our community, cost us so much money in litigation and lawsuits. They're called slaps. Don't say anything about me, whether it be true or not, because I'm going to come after you with the city's money, with our money, our taxpayers' money. You know what he put these poor Thomases through? Hell and back. Their daughter had to go back and forth to school from Fullerton because they couldn't pay for the dorm fees. All of this, couldn't get her a car. A lot of money that they had to spend. Now the city's gonna pay their expenses. Wow, they shouldn't pay Cabrera's expenses for that because we lost. They shouldn't even pay his expenses for that part of the lawsuit. But the city did because he said he was acting as the mayor. Well, is that the way the mayor acts? Lying, restraining orders for a year and plus, and all the damages and all the stuff he did to this family. People know, the council members on this dais know what kind of family they are. They're a great family. They always want to give to the community. They're always giving back. They're not here, they're takers. They're here to give. But we got a mayor that's just here to take. He's a self-serving politician. He's just here to serve himself, not the people, because it's shown in all his actions. We the people, for the people, by the people. No, it's we, Cabrera, for Cabrera, by Cabrera. When is it going to end? When are we going to stop defending this fool mayor of ours? Thank you.
The next speaker is Roy Blackard.
Well, hell is freezing over, pigs are flying, and Shay will be wearing a MAGA hat at the next council meeting. Why do you think I say this? To give a little backdrop of what you've been hearing, people, and I gotta be clued into it. Our mayor, Baby Jesus, sued the Thomases a year ago on a phony baloney restraining order that took far too long in the courts. This is very similar to what happened to Jason Hunter and Gage Canal and Riverside that just got adjudicated, just like that one did. I think it points out the hubris, the out of control, the lack of disrespect the mayor has shown not only to the Thomases, but this whole community. We went through this. Lena can explain this to you, Louise, Joanne, with the slap suits that went on back in '96 at the crime syndicate, Baca versus MVUSD. And you know what? Almost 30 years later, we're replaying the same stuff. We're not going to get along. We're not going to solve any of these problems until we sit down and talk honestly about this stuff. This city should be explaining why we even got to this point. That should be coming from that council right up there with a question and a whole, I don't care, study session agenda item, because what you're doing, y'all yap about transparency, accountability, and all that other, that is at best, a backdoor, slimy way to get around people's constitutional right of free political speech and right to redress their government. And if you got a government that's weaponized against one person, it's weaponized against us all. And that's why we're not a democracy, because a democracy is majority 50% rule. A representative republic, the greatest country in the history of the world, the United States of America, protects the minority of one versus 350 million. Do we want to keep repeating the same mistakes of the past? Or will we finally break the link of insanity?
Mayor Pro Tem Santa Cruz, that concludes all of public comments on items on tonight's agenda.
Thank you. I will now entertain a motion to approve the consent items.
I second that. Motion to approve the consent items.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, voice vote, please.
Thank you. Councilmember Bernard?
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Yes.
Councilmember Delgado?
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Santa Cruz?
Yes.
Thank you.
We will now be taking a 5-minute break. We will return at 6:43. Thank you. Welcome back. We'll now move on to item J, public hearings. Questions or comments from the public on a public hearing matter are limited to 3 minutes per individual and must pertain to the subject under consideration. Those wishing to testify should complete and submit a goldenrod speaker slip to the city clerk's staff. For item J1, there will be a staff report by Colin Kirkpatrick, Deputy City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. The item before you is a continued appeal hearing of Planning Commission approval of conditional use permit PEN 24-0013. I'll refer you to the published agenda for relevant background on this item. Staff and myself are available for any further questions from the council, should you have any. If you do not have any questions from the council, I would recommend the Mayor Pro Tem open the public hearing and take public testimony, including any testimony from the appellant.
Okay. Are there any council questions of staff?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I will now open the continued appeal hearing. Madam Clerk, are there any speakers?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Santa Cruz. Yes, the first two speakers are Michael Ayaz, followed by Russell Schaefer.
Good evening. 3 minutes only, and no staff report for the appellant. Classic. Well, I'm here today. I've listened to your community. It doesn't surprise me that we're here today. First, let me say that my client is not necessarily objecting to Dutch Brothers in general. What we're objecting to is the nefarious and backroom dealings that appear to be happening with a developer simply because we requested information. I'll note to you for the record, and our writ's ready to go, and so you'll face another lawsuit right after this, but essentially what we asked for, we initially reached out to the city and the city planner and the city planning manager and said, listen, our guy doesn't understand. The developer tried to get him to sign a document that was giving away property rights. We stopped that. They said, oh no, it wasn't in the right form. We stopped it. We talked to city planning. We said, listen, send us the notice of the hearing. My guy doesn't understand or speak a lick of English enough to understand these public notices, right? That's in writing and with a meeting. And what did they do? They had the hearing without sending us a single communication. Now they'll couch it in, well, we did what was done by the code. We had a specific request to send us notice. They failed to do that. You'll notice that the staff report for tonight, which wasn't read into the record, but as part of the record, is double that of what was at the Planning Commission. You have a Planning Commission that's joking around, maybe, about free products and free stickers and not talking about traffic and not explaining the environmental issues and rubber stamping. I keep hearing this word rubber stamping the developer's project. I drove from San Diego from a family celebration of life because I asked for a 30-day continuance. I got a 2-week continuance, and I haven't even had the time to have the traffic report analyzed. That was only given to me 2 weeks ago by your city attorney, who doesn't return phone calls, who doesn't return emails, and who doesn't give you the administrative record. This is the legacy that this city is leaving, and as I see it from the people that are here today, I am shocked, and I can't help but wonder what kind of activity is actually going on here. This is the first time that I've ever objected as an attorney against a business. And it's not because I do it against the business, I do it against your staff and the way that this was handled. All they had to do was give us time. We likely would have withdrawn our appeal had we just understood the project. But they keep playing these games where they keep pushing through this project because they're getting free coffee and free stickers. My clients' constitutional rights have been violated. My clients, the Planning Commission has violated the Brown Act. I'm sending the notice of claim coming, depending on what you guys do. I would ask you for a continuance because the reality is if I had the information necessary, I wouldn't have brought this appeal. I would have been able to talk to these people, the planning staff, and just determine what was what. They send me a staff report that's double what it was at the Planning Commission. Yet now they're giving it to me 2 weeks prior to the hearing.
Thank you, sir.
And you're giving me 3 minutes, which
Next speaker is
Next
Russell
two speakers
Schaefer.
are Russell Schaefer, followed by Roy Blackard.
Okay. I am in favor of this Dutch Brothers coming in on Alessandro Paris Boulevard. They are a good fit for the empty area and will alleviate the traffic on the other on Hemlock. They want to put a third one, which they know will be good for their business. I will think that a lot of businesses should put a second one across town if there is too many patrons as the one area. Like In-N-Out, Texas Roadhouse, BJ's, Chick-fil-A, etc. I don't know why we are not in conversations with those businesses. After all, we are a city of over 240,000 people, second largest city in the IE. So let's get this in. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's going to take away a lot of traffic in the Dutch Brothers on Hemlock. I mean, come on, you guys, let's do it. We need one over there on the other side. Thank you.
The next speaker is Roy Blackard.
I never thought, and I can cross this off the bucket list, I never thought you could turn a coffee shop or coffee place into a cluster foxtrot. I mean, there's so many things that happen in the city, but it gets the reputation we have. Not saying the concerns of the first gentleman are valid or not. But what was the whole deal with the continuance the last meeting and then coming up here and running that? Hey, if you got it, go for it. But it's stuff like this that has got the reputation and makes people run away from this city. However it goes, it needs to be fixed. That's your job. If you guys can't handle the job, it's called resignation papers, and we'll find somebody that can get the job done. After 40 years, it keeps continuing to get worse. We point fingers at others and try to blame this, or it's the big guy up above, or whatever. Sometimes we just don't look in the mirror. Get some very sage advice early in life. I was bitching and moaning about this, that, and everything was going wrong. Someone looked at me and said, you know what? Go look in the mirror. Because 98.7% if it's going good, bad, or ugly is with you. So let's step up and take the responsibility. Let's figure out what's honestly going on. We cannot fix a problem if we don't identify it. For a coffee place, this should have never gotten to this point. Please fix it.
The next speaker is Luis Palomares.
Luis Palomares, community activist. Wow. You never know what you're going to hear in this room. What's really going on? Did we cross all our T's and dot all our I's? I hope so. Because we need this business on the other side of town. I want it to come. I welcome it. There's people that come all the way from the East End, all the way over here to get their coffee. Of course, the parking lot's packed, just like it is at In-N-Out. Same thing. Same MO. We're supposed to get an in and out on that side too, on Nason. What's going on with that? This is what's going on with our businesses. When? I talked to a couple of people, they say, oh no, it's the developer, or they're trying to figure out, let's get all the kinks out of everything. Why do we have to invent the wheel again to get a business here? And then this gentleman comes and talks about the other issues that are going on. I don't know anything about that, you know? But as far as we need another coffee shop here, one of the Dutch brothers on that east end. We do. And I know they're going to want to do something further, maybe on the south side. It'd be great. Every business we can get, bring it on. But let's do the right thing. Let's take care of, let's start from the bottom and do it all right. Because nobody should have to come and say to the council, this is what they didn't do, this is what they didn't do, this is what they should have did, this. I think it went through the planning, and the planning asked all the questions, and I think they dotted their I's and crossed their T's, I hope. So here we are again in another dilemma. I don't know if the developer's here today. I support the project. You know, get all the kinks out of it, figure it out, fix it, and let's keep going. Let's keep on going. Because we gotta have so many businesses here already. So much. You know, we're so far behind. We're 10 years behind Riverside. We're 10 years behind. And everything we can bring it on. We need restaurants on that side. We need a lot of stuff over there. If we would have got the one I was talking about earlier, I can't remember. Forget. Anyway, we would have been rolling with money. $30 million they wanted to give us. $30 million. Hillwood, that's the guy. How much more development would have went on that end? You know, restaurants. Oh, we need all that. Keep it coming. We need it. Thank you.
The next speaker is Bob Palomares.
Good evening, Council. I like the idea of the Dutch brothers on that east end. You know, the one we have right here across the street from the In-N-Out. Man, that if you can get in there, it's pretty tough, you know. It's people throwing U-turns, leaving the In-N-Out, and people trying to get in there, and that's a tight squeeze. So on that east end, this is it's a good project. And I know the gentleman that he sounded like an attorney. You know, he was slicing up the planning commission, the staff, and, you know, and I said, man, it's not the same one. The planning commission, I go and see and hear talk and get into projects. You know, they always seem to really dig into whatever they're doing and come up with, you know, good answers. Same thing with the council. Nothing perfect, but you do a damn good job. The staff, I'm sure, does. Contrary to what Roy might think, you know, the staff I think they do a good job, but it's a good project. How it got so controversial is, man, you know, it's crazy. Thank you.
That concludes all of public testimony, Mayor Pro Tem Santa Cruz.
I now close the public hearing and invite any council deliberations.
I have a question for Colin. So the 2-week extension, we could have approved this project or denied the denial the last council meeting, but we agreed to push it another 2 weeks to give them more time. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
And the time that they should have spent or could have spent reviewing said documents was 2 full weeks?
Correct.
Ish?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question for city staff. This project was conditionally approved in July by planning? Okay. The date I believe was, I want to say July 10th or somewhere around there. Yes? Okay. How soon after that was the appeal filed?
I believe it was within the 10 days, but I don't remember the specific time.
You don't have the specific? Okay.
It was in time for the cutoff.
Okay. And once the appeal was filed, during the hearing at Planning Commission, were the issues that were brought up tonight the issues that were notated then also?
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members. The appellant was not at the Planning Commission meeting.
Okay, so the appellant wasn't at the Planning Commission meeting the night that the decision was done, but then they filed the appeal within the 10 days? Okay.
And to answer your question, as far as do we know what the appellant's issues are, we do not, to date.
Today. Okay.
They just been requesting continued time to review a document that could probably be reviewed in an hour's time.
And that's the traffic study? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That's all the questions that I have.
I have one question. Did any of the other surrounding businesses ask for more time or continuance regarding this project?
No, sir.
Thank you.
No further questions? In that case, I will motion that we deny any further continuation of the appeal hearing that may be requested by the appellant and proceed with adopting Resolution 2025X attached hereto denying the appeal PAA 25-0002 and uphold the Planning Commission's approval of the conditional use permit PEN 24-0013 without any modifications to the proposed project's conditions of appeal.
Second.
Madam Clerk, please call for a voice vote.
Thank you. Councilmember Bernard?
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Yes.
Councilmember Delgado?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Santa Cruz?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will now move on to item K, general business. Public comment on each general business item shall be limited to 3 minutes per speaker and must pertain to the subject matter under consideration. Those wishing to testify are encouraged to complete a blue speaker slip to the city clerk's staff. Item K1, ordinance amending chapter 20.2, City Council Advisory Boards and Commissions regarding annual reports. Staff report by Madam City Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem Santa Cruz, and members of the City Council. This item proposes a small but important amendment to Chapter 2.20 of the Municipal Code, which governs advisory boards and commissions. As you know, Ordinance 1022, which was adopted April 1st of 2025, requires each board and commission to submit an annual report summarizing their work over the past year. Staff submitted these reports at the consent calendar item during the August 19th meeting. At that meeting, the council asked that future reports be presented as general business items with each chair or designee given at least 5 minutes to present. To reflect this direction, we are proposing 2 simple changes to the code. Number 1, reports will be submitted to the city clerk after commission approval and placed on a future city council agenda as general business. Number 2, the chair or designee will be given a minimum of 5 minutes to present the report at that meeting. To help manage time, the presentations will be staggered across different council meetings so each board or commission receives focused attention. This change supports greater transparency, visibility, and engagement between the council and advisory bodies. The annual reports proposed to be staggered are as follows. In January, the Public Arts Commission will report. February, the Environmental and Historical Preservation Commission will report. March, the Library Commission. April, Parks and Community Services and Trails Commission. In May, the Senior Citizens Commission. In June, Traffic Safety Commission. And in September, Utilities Commission. In July, we didn't go with July because we go dark in July. And that completes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions, as is my colleague, the city manager, Brian Mohan.
Are we missing the emerging leaders?
The emerging leaders was not part of the original 1022.
Okay.
Therefore, it's the traditional 7 commissions.
Okay. Questions?
Madam City Clerk, you mentioned that they have a minimum of 5 minutes or a maximum of 5 minutes?
Minimum of 5 minutes.
So at least 5 minutes?
Yes, at least 5 minutes.
There's no max they can
Right.
Okay, I see Justin out there and Riley, so I know. Thank you.
If they need longer, you guys can obviously choose to give them a few more minutes, but the 5 minutes is the minimum.
So you're saying they'll have up to 5 minutes? Wait, so you say up to 5 minutes?
No.
No, minimum.
At least 5 minutes.
At
Then you
least
are saying
5.
that. Okay. So then.
At
all right.
least 5 minutes.
Right, a 5 minute, yeah. We do this at the colleges. They call it 5 to Thrive, and every once a month, one of the departments comes and gets to get at least 5 minutes. It is going kind of long though, so we may want to. Yeah, it is.
So the way the ordinance is written, it is at least 5. It would be up to the presiding officer of that particular night, the mayor or mayor pro tem or any of the council members that are presiding officers, to determine if more time may be allotted.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so I think this staff report encompasses exactly what we were asking for the changes at the last meeting. So we will, are there any public comments on this item?
Yes, we do. The
Okay.
first two speakers are Riley Peak, followed by Roy Blacker.
You can raise this thing? This is awesome. For the 5 years, almost 5 years I've been up here, it's the first time I find out. Thank you. I just want to say thank you all for your quick action on amending this ordinance and giving our commissioners and allowing them to present their reports to City Council. All of our commissions are super proud of the work that they do every single month. I'm sure nobody else agrees, but I wish we had a meeting every day, but I'll leave that for never. Even though it may seem small, I truly appreciate the opportunity to be able to present the amazing work that the PCSTC does and all of the parks and community services and all the trails that we're making for our city to make it even more beautiful. And I truly believe that commissions and commissioners are just another place of representation for our residents. And this is great, so that way our residents can know who their commissions are, who their commissioners are, so that way they know that they can always go and contact their commissioner and ask them questions and all that. So just thank you so much for the quick action on amending this and allowing us to view our reports before they go to City Council and allowing us to present them. And I look forward to seeing you, and I think it's April.
The next speaker is Roy Blacker.
To quote the great Luis Palomares, another Mickey Mouse attempt to try to redo the meetings instead of doing them right the first time. As Mr. Peak came up here and said, he would appreciate more opportunity to come up and do this as the environmental board and everybody else has. This board, and Bob, this staff, has consistently, and I'm going to say with malice and forethought, rejected and has for decades the reforms I have put in front of you to fix all this stuff so you are accountable, you are transparent. You will give everybody a chance to do it. Instead of scheduling the frickin' Utility Commission and the Arts Commission at the same time on the same day, consistently. Like I said, you guys could not run a popsicle cart, much less a city. Please, let's get our act together. Let's lead. You know what? It would be nice one day. I know my dad will never hear it. It would be nice one day to say, you know what? San Bernardino, Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, Bear, Vermont took the policy and the procedures that the city of Moreno Valley did. It's called leadership. It's called doing your job. Everybody likes to crow how great we're doing. But you know, if it quacks, it's a duck. And people can see that. And they look at this city and they look at all of us. This is a reflection of this community, all of us, all 200 plus thousand. Extremely rarely is it that you get a phone call and saying, hey, let's fix this stuff. How can we make it better? How can we? Maybe Roy won't be coming up here every meeting saying this.
The next speaker is Justin Jackson.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon, City Council and Mayor Pro Tem. I just wanted to speak in support of this. I really look forward to having our commission's work showcased for the whole public to hear. It's been incredibly humbling to serve on the Environmental, Historical, and Preservation Commission. I've only been at it for, I believe, 4 months now, maybe three meetings, but this is exactly what I was looking to do when I wanted to get involved in my local community, to really be on the ground, seeing how I can build my city up, and the work plan that we're doing in concordance with the staff. I really appreciate the work and the time that the staff puts in, and my fellow commissioners. So having the opportunity for us to give a presentation at minimum 5 minutes, I'm pretty confident we'll be able to hit that 5 minutes with the current work plan that we have. So I really do support this, and I look forward to next February us showcasing all of the great work that we have done up to that point. By then, we'd have the flag redesign competition solidified, and our brochure will be good. So knocking a few things off of our work plan for EHPC, and once more, just happy for the whole public to be aware of that, and also invite them to our meeting so they can have greater input on what we're doing at the commission. Thank you. Thank you, staff.
Mayor Pro Tem, that concludes all of public testimony for this item.
Thank you. Now bring it back to the dais for council deliberation.
I'll start. I just want to say I'm on the Senior Citizens Commission and the traffic safety. And I've always said you guys should come and tell the city with the great stuff that you're doing. So this is great. Thank you for bringing this forward, ma'am. And Roy, for your great ideas, sir. Appreciate you. But I can't wait to hear them report back, because the stuff that we hear at the traffic meetings is the public doesn't hear that stuff. And the great stuff that Brian talked about earlier about the camera system in Moreno Valley is amazing. And the traffic folks, or the traffic commission, I know, the traffic commission explains all that. So it's great stuff. Thank you.
I too would like to thank staff for making the adjustment after we talked at the last meeting and just seeing that there was some miscommunication. So I always appreciate how quickly you guys are able to address the concerns and be able to address the needs of our commissioners, and hopefully this will help. So when people ask what do our commissions do, that they'll actually be able to see what our commissions do. So I again thank Mayor Pro Tem Baca Santa Cruz for bringing this forward, as well as I should probably not just thank her, but her environmental her environmental preservation board, who is always diligently working and giving everyone for a run for their money on the commission. So thank you.
Okay, and I serve on the Environmental Historical Preservation Commission and the Utilities Commission, and we're always getting really good updates. There's the whole year is set out of which updates we're gonna get, so that's with Utilities, and Environmental Historical Preservation has a work plan, so I'm excited that the public gets to hear about these as well. And so I don't know if this is a right time, because we're talking about council advisory and this ordinance 2.20. Is this where I can ask that is it not on the agenda to add the attendance for council, or does that need to be brought back? Because,
So that would be different.
Okay, so then we'll
future
hold that
agenda
for
item.
future, okay.
And this is a new ordinance number to be assigned related to chapter 2.20.
perfect.
Yep.
Okay, with no further deliberation, I'll entertain a motion for council to approve staff's recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, voice vote, please.
Thank you. Councilmember Bernard,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilmember Delgado,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Baca Santa Cruz.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes with 4-0. The next item, K2, is a developer's request to amend Rancho del Sol Golf Course Agreement. We have a report from our city manager.
Mayor Pro Tem, I will actually
Oh.
be taking that one this evening. So just quick background on this item. On August 18th, 2025, the property owner Rancho Belago, the property owner of Rancho Belago Phase 2 apartment project and Rancho del Sol Golf Course, commonly referred to as Bridge Development, submitted a second unsolicited request for a second amendment to the agreement regarding golf course property maintenance. The first unsolicited request was denied by the City Council on June 17th, 2025. The terms that they are proposing for this amendment include the following: payment of $500,000 to the city, increased bond by $1 million, extension of clubhouse deadline for 12 months from date of agreement, the release of all certificates of occupancy for buildings 1 through 14 and the clubhouse, that is the apartment clubhouse, not the golf course. The remaining buildings 15 through 16 shall receive certificates of occupancy no later than 6 months from the date of the agreement, or as soon as the golf course clubhouse receives its temporary certificate of occupancy, whichever comes first. Additionally, they are seeking the ability to sell the golf course to a more experienced golf course owner-operator, with the opportunity to assign ongoing golf course-related obligations, subject to regional review by the city for approval. Finally, Bridgewood identifies that they would retain responsibility to complete the new golf course clubhouse. That mechanism is unknown at this time. To that end, city staff recommends that the proposed terms be denied, as the existing agreement ensures the completion of the golf course clubhouse building, as was originally agreed to. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Are there any council questions of staff?
Thank you for that presentation, Sean. The question I have regarding the clubhouse, and you just said that they didn't propose a schedule for the clubhouse, but that's the sticking point of this whole thing is get the clubhouse built, we'll issue certificates of occupancy, correct?
That is correct. That is what is within our existing agreement.
Right, but the new agreement has no timetable for this clubhouse.
It asks for an extension of time of 12 months, but there is no timeline actually established in the agreement for when the clubhouse is to be completed. It is only that at its completion, then the city will start releasing occupancies on the apartment buildings.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, public testimony. City Clerk, are there any speakers?
Yes, the first two speakers are Christopher Baca, followed by Luis Palomares.
I think our city attorney is a shift changer. Looks different from 5 minutes ago. But anyhow, this is a perfect example of undue inside influence by competing developers. Historically, I believe Bridge has been a nemesis to Highland Fairview. And this is clearly influenced by special interests, because there's absolutely no reason why they cannot release the occupancy of the apartment complex that's already done. The city needs housing, and they're holding it up over some BS. You know, the staff bends over backwards for Highland Fairview. They've given them so much, and they continue giving them so much. And this poor developer is simply asking for an extension, And even if they do sell it, big deal. What has Highland Fairview done in Aquabella but BS? And the city's been putting infrastructure for the World Logistics Center. Same crap. The city has put in so much, and nothing. You know, they're barely doing their third little building, thing because Skechers warehouse because Skechers has occupancy for it. Otherwise, he's not going to build nothing, but yet the city's putting in infrastructure that's a drop in the bucket compared to what this can cost the city, which it's not going to cost the city. So that, connect the dots. Who's being influenced, who's getting special interest, and what exactly is whoever is claiming or pushing for denial of this. This is shameful. This is really shameful, and people really need to look into this corruption in the city, how a special interest developer influences staff with bullshit like this. It needs to stop, and you four up here should really consider and look into this. Either, put it aside for now and really look into it, or, just be honest. Just be honest. We're doing this because you don't want it. That's the bottom line.
The next two speakers are Luis Palomares, followed by Roy Blackard.
Wow. Luis Palomares, community activist. Bring it on. Stick to the original agreement they made. Why are we going to switch it up in the middle of the game here? There's a flag on the field, lots of them. They agreed to do this, that, and this and that. How many years later? 7 years later, 6 years later, like SpongeBob says? 5 years later, we're still waiting? What happened? They haven't held up to their part of the bargain. We've been waiting. We want this to come long time ago. It should have been finished already. So they bit off more than they can chew then, just to say, hey, we're going to do this and that. And the city's on board. Yeah, let's make it happen. But they dropped the ball. They fumbled the ball. Now here we are, years later. They need to stick to the original agreement. That's what they agreed to do. I know we need housing. Oh, yeah, I know that. But they got to stick to the original agreement, and that's why I'm looking at it. Why are we switching up things in the middle of the game here? Just keep it coming and do the right thing for the community here and the people. And we're waiting for that clubhouse, and we're waiting for that golf course, and we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're waiting. Take care of that, and then you can get your housing thing going on. Thank you.
The next speaker is Roy Blackard.
I didn't know Mr. Palomares was SpongeBob, but interesting things you learn here. Whenever it was like the great Luis said, whatever it was 5, 6, 7 years ago when this came up, it was predicted this was going to happen. What happened to the Boys and Girls Club? Oh, we shuttled that off. Now we're trying to maneuver around the golf course and the club and everything else. As I remember it, and you can go check the record, these cats got a heck of a deal on the property and setting this thing up. For that, we were supposed to get a few amenities for the people, for the community. And you probably won't find as a pro-development guy as me, but stick to the agreement. It's that simple. Finally, I guess I'll shock SpongeBob, but finally staff's standing on something and saying, hey, this is the way you should do it. Actually, we should have more staff reports like that explaining what it is and on practically every issue. And staff should put a recommendation. I would demand a recommendation from staff signed on every agenda item coming on. Some of them come up with none, or these 2-word or no-word reports. Again, I would encourage more interaction between all of us like this, I think you'd find a lot less contention. This is just a simple, from my perspective, it's a simple act of fairness, and your word is your bond. And it creates the tension you've heard on all this stuff coming in. And I see developers, you know, I've been in this game for parts of 7 decades. It creates this contention when this stuff happens. And if it's not happening, sure, we can change things. Everything's not in concrete. There's a legit reason for changing something. It will be obvious to everybody. In this case, it's not. So it's up to them. If they want to do the project as it was approved by the city of Moreno Valley, go for it. If you don't want to do it, then pick up your toys and go home. It's really just that simple.
Mayor Pro Tem, that concludes all the publics on this item.
Okay, we'll move on. Oh, my phone is going to the side. Okay, we'll move on to council deliberation. Yes.
So I know this is their second request to come in as many months. I think the last one came in June. I think what's the most disappointing, because I don't believe the developer is here tonight, is that this is consistently the same issue that we're having. All that my residents that I represent are asking for is for the project to be completed as originally approved. We are still continually to have discussions with residents regarding the golf course, regarding the clubhouse being up to standard, and all we're asking, the original project was approved in 2018. To give you an idea, that was 7 years ago. I was pregnant with my oldest then. So we're talking 7 years, and we're not even at a phase where the clubhouse is open, the golf course is up to standard, and residents were told that these things were coming. So my continued disappointment in this developer for being able to simply just uphold their agreement. And instead of going back to the drawing board and looking at everything and saying, oh, they denied it, and here were some of the comments that we got from council previously as well as residents, they decided to just submit another amendment that nobody asked for. That, if you were to ask me, was worse than the first amendment that you suggested we look into and approve. And no, I will always say, I don't think we should release certificate of occupancy until they're able to meet the goals. Those goals were put in there for a reason. Those deadlines were in there for a reason, and yet they've been unable to do it. So to say I'm disappointed in this developer is quite frankly an understatement. And I'm just going to go on record as saying they can submit as many amendments as they want until they can come back to the original agreement and start knocking those off. I have no words for them, and neither do the residents in District 4 who are not happy that this golf course is taking this long. This should have been done years ago, if you were to ask me, because the apartments they got done built quickly. So you should put the same effort into the golf course. They knew when they bought it, they knew what it was. Again, I thank staff for putting this report together, for taking their amendments. But for me, this is just going to be a no when it comes up for vote for me.
I agree with Councilmember Bernard that this is very disappointing that if they wanted to come back to the table and bring us something more substantial, some information why they didn't get it done or why they want this extension, but to just say we're going to open up buildings 15, 16, the clubhouse in the apartment complex. They give us a timetable for opening up their apartments, but not the clubhouse, the actual golf clubhouse. So I agree, very disappointed, but we'll vote on it.
I just want to say it's unfortunate since all these residential units are just waiting to be filled, and we have a developer who's not fulfilling the original obligation and commitments, and hopefully they reconsider and they get their units released and we get our clubhouse, but it's very disappointing, just like other council members are saying.
No further deliberation. I will now entertain a motion by council to either approve or deny staff's recommendation.
Motion to approve staff recommendation as stated.
I second that motion.
Madam City Clerk, please call for a voice vote.
Councilmember Bernard,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilmember Delgado,
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Pro Tem Santa Cruz.
Yes.
Thank you.
That motion passes 4-0. Next item is K3, to explore Moreno Valley Hall of Fame. The report is by City Manager. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. If you recall, at the last meeting, August 19th, 2025, during, I believe it's Section P, future agenda items, it was motioned by the mayor to explore a Moreno Valley Hall of Fame, which was seconded by Councilwoman Bernard and approved with a 4-0 vote as Mayor Pro Tem was away for the vote. So at this particular point in time, this is in essence a conversation related to exploring a Moreno Valley Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, I know that the mayor is not here, but hopefully, based on, I believe it was the second from Councilwoman Bernard, she had some ideas as well related to this particular item. So at this point, if you could have some dialogue and then provide directions so that staff can implement or move forward with some direction related to this particular topic.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, I was away from the dais at the last meeting. I think it was my birthday. I was celebrating my 50th birthday, so I did step away, but I will open the dialogue for conversation up here. Council questions of staff first, and then public testimony, and then deliberations. So if you have any council questions of staff.
I guess one of the main questions I have is, would this be something we could include in the museum at the mall? Because I know we've had some discussions already about would be in there, but I just want to know if this is something or would we need to go find a whole nother building?
I did take some liberties because in your specific second to the motion, you mentioned the museum. I have talked to our consultant and the curators, and this is very doable, depending on the scope, conversation, and what you guys envision. But it could be definitely doable from a virtual standpoint, especially through the passage of time area of the grotto that is currently under design, and porting basically through portals residents back in time. And so we could definitely do something of a Hall of Fame in that area.
I have a question for us. Oh, I see it's staff right now. Sorry.
Okay, we'll open up for public testimony. Are there any public speakers?
Yes, the first three speakers are Luis Palomares, followed by Bob Palomares, followed by Justin Jackson.
Thank you.
Luis Palomares, community activist. Wow, another stupid idea. Wasted money. Hall of Fame? Like the arts and the little libraries and the storefront libraries, and another bright idea so he could put on his page and everything else. Look what I did. Can't you think out of the box? Couldn't you thought Hill would? $30 million. I can't help it. It's true. And you all voted against it except Mrs. Santa Cruz Baca here. I think you regret it now. I believe so. Maybe not. I could be wrong there. A Hall of Fame. Really? These people have money. If they want to do a Hall of Famer, let them do it themselves. Hey, we appreciate what they do in the community and do in the city, but golly, it's another something. Oh, look what I did. You know, rubbing elbows with the good old My Friend Club. Okay, somebody should be in a Hall of Fame. It's P. Bleckard. I go for that. P. Bleckard. 40 years later, 50 years later, Always had his boots on the ground, doing something for our community here. Hall of Fame. Wow. Tom, oh my goodness, Tom Jarrell. There's another one. Hall of Famer. He was with crutches and everything. He came in here and he did his Dylan's duty. You know, we the people, for the people, by the people. That's who should be in the Hall of Fame if we're going to do this. Come on. A few athletes that give back to the community. Thank you. Thank you. But that's where we should leave it. In a museum, God, when's that mall going to really get done? Really. Another one, Mr. Wilson, an activist here in the community, I don't want to go there, but kick butt all over the place. Got sued. We got sued for sticking up for the students at the Moreno Valley Unified School District. We took that issue on. It was called the slap. We won it. Look at it. Victoria Baca versus Moreno Valley Unified. Or I could have it backwards, but they try to shut us up, take us to the court. That's who should be in the hall. Mrs. Baca. If we're gonna go there, let's go there then. Come on. Those are the people that should be. The people that were on the ground floor making things happen in this community and gave it their all. And it wasn't what's in it for me. What am I going to get out of it? You know? It was from the heart. From the heart they did it. You know? Really, really, really. And I'm going to throw a shout out to my brother, Richard. 57 years old, passed of a heart attack. Wow. He would have been 76 today. Happy birthday, Rich, my brother. Thank you.
The next three speakers are Bob Palomares, followed by Justin Jackson, followed by Russell Schaefer.
Is this supposed to be just for athletes or no? Because I'm wondering how many athletes do we have that would be able to put in there? You know, does this justify it? You know, if it's just athletes, if it's community members, or, you know, I really don't. I heard that's what they want to do, open up a museum. But personally, if you go ahead and, you know, keep bringing it up and exploring and see what comes of it, always keep in mind that, you know, Pete Blackard, like Luis was saying, you know, he used to race hole number 22 at the International Speedway. I mean, way back when, before I was here, that's for sure. And to me, he was kind of like, I pictured him like the James Dean of Moreno Valley. So that building should be named after him if it ever comes to be. But I like the idea, you know, but is it justified with what we have right now, or do we gotta wait or figure out who's gonna go in there? Because there's a lot of good people here that, you know, they're not athletes, but they've done a lot of contributing to this community. You know, just ask the historical board and they'll tell you, a lot of good people. Thank you.
The next three speakers are Justin Jackson, followed by Russell Schaefer, followed by Roy Blackard.
Good afternoon one more time. I'm here to speak in support of this motion and this proposal. I think it's a really good idea to highlight some of our Moreno Valley residents, the famous and the less notable as well, from a lot of the folks that helped in the founding of our city to the more famous athletes that we do have in our city, the few that we do have. I would just say I would love to friendly amend the motion and allow this something to be that the staff works in cohort with the Environmental Historical Preservation Commission so we can open it up and crowdsource some of those highlighted figures that some of our residents have already mentioned, but also do our research. And as we do meet monthly, take the time to really digest what this Moreno Valley Memorial Hall of Fame, whatever the designated name will be, can really look like in fruition. When it comes to the placing of it, I think it's a timely ideal to see if this would be something placed in the Immersive Museum. However, my worry is that because the Immersive Museum will inherently be profit driven, I don't want our history to be backsided by the whims of what's profitable. If this isn't a popular what's the word, exhibit. I don't want this to be, you know, pushed to the backside of something that's a little bit more popular that they do, like the Vincent van Gogh immersive opportunities. So nonetheless, I think this is an opportunity for the Environmental Historical Preservation Commission to continue to build our Rolodex of great projects that we're supporting here in our city. We already have 5 things on or 5 items, I should say, on our 2025 work plan. Nonetheless, we will be in due time getting rid of 2 of those, or I should say completing 2 of those, the flag design and our brochure design. So I think we do have the capacity to take on this and, again, take our time to crowdsource this and slow the process down, so we're not just doing something that's not that's not welcoming to community members, and really be holistic in this approach. So thank you, guys. Thank you all.
The next 2 speakers are Russell Schaefer, followed by Roy Blackard.
Yeah, completely. This is delusional. I mean, I don't know what people are thinking about this and stuff. What I see is Hall of Fame. People are doing a great job here. I feel like everybody as a whole in this city are doing a great job. If that's the case, put everybody in this museum. Everybody deserves it. So I completely disagree with this. It's frivolous, and I believe for Cabrera bringing this, I think it's politically motivated. So if you want to, why don't you just put the borough on a sign or whatever, on a picture, the history of the borough, put that somewhere. But you guys are gonna pay so much money for this, people aren't gonna. You're gonna lose money on this. I don't agree on it. Like I said, if you're thinking about it, everybody should be in this museum instead of just certain people. I don't like it. This ain't good. Thank you. It's a money grab, and it's politically motivated.
The next 2 speakers are Roy Blackard, followed by Riley Peak.
This is an example which will prove some of my earlier renditions. This is an item that should have been brought before a study session with the appropriate boards on there, as you should organize the meetings. So we're not wasting or consuming time on an agendized meeting. This should, if you're going to do it, this should be brought up when you're ready to approve something. This is not the proper forum or protocol for putting something on as a proposal, because it provides lack of discussion of time of looking at it. And it's, to Mr. Jackson's point, I'm disappointed that he's glad 6 months later he's going to get 5 minutes to talk about something. Should be demanding it now. This stuff, and I agree with what Russ said. Right now there's 220,000 Hall of Fame members. And I don't know how many, 500,000 million that have been in this community. To me, in my world, no one person is more important than the other. And that's what disappoints me about these name recognitions. In most cases, in probably 111% of them, they're used to dish out political favors, grandstanding, look at me, another thing I can get me or my friends or my constituency an award so we can build our little fortune, our little world up. If you're really for the people, if you're really for that, let's recognize everybody. The Hall of Fame should be everybody that's contributed to this community. That's your Hall of Fame. If I was doing it, that's what I would put on there, Hall of Fame. Every resident that's contributed and built the legacy and the future of this community. Period. End of story. See how simple this stuff is? All you have to do is ask. Unlike the AI grok of Moreno Valley. I'll spit it like outright, just like that. This is what I'm talking about. Things are, things can be extremely simple, extraordinarily easy to solve if we would all have these discussions and you would learn a little bit. I suggest you watch the 11 principles Donald J. Trump gave to our youth, and you look at them and put them into practice, because we all should.
The next speaker is Riley Peak.
Hello again for hopefully the last time for tonight. I just wanted to say this could be a good idea in fruition. It's just right now, I feel like we have so much going on in this city that we have so many people in this city that's been so amazing and great. Half of this room could be in the Hall of Fame. And you couldn't just put in pictures, you couldn't just put up frames. You'd have to make one of those, it's kind of like the ones at Disneyland where the wall keeps on moving because we'd have so many people. And I just feel like this could take away from all the even better things that we could bring to this city. And I'd like it to see a criteria for a Hall of Fame. And if we're going to make a Hall of Fame, see who's allowed to be in here, who's selecting it. And I honestly think that this should have gone to one of our commissions first, so that way they can do all the deliberation and see if it's even viable before we start having staff make staff reports and before we bring it to council. So just thank you.
That concludes all of public comments on this item.
Thank you so much. I will now bring it back to the dais for council deliberations, where I think that we probably wanted to start anyways, because at the last meeting, it was just brought back to have a discussion. So, yeah, I think we got a lot of good ideas from the community. I also feel that maybe 75% of this room could be in a Hall of Fame tonight. I think we're the same people every month that are in this room. But also, if we are looking at doing something this big, that it can go to one of our commissions. And if we were, I don't know if you guys were thinking about like athletes, those are the types of items that you can ask for them.
So this is what I think happens, right? We have a future agenda item. We can't discuss what said future agenda item is. It's just us bringing it up. We said we bring it back for a discussion. And so what's happening now is the discussion. So let's just start there. What's happening now is the discussion. Some of what I'm trying to ask is, can we utilize the space that we have? And then we can start to get to certain criterias, because in the museum, the design work of the museum isn't just the immersive part of it, but also the history of Moreno Valley and things like that, which, by the way, would include, oh, he walked off again, the racetrack. It would include the people who were here during the first meeting. So there's like all of these things that will be included. So what I think sometimes happen, and I say this for the public that's in the room, is we make a future agenda item, we can't have a discussion about it, it shows up here, and now we're having a discussion. And so that's where we're getting at. Now we're having a discussion, because before we even get to what the criteria is, what I need to know is, do we have space? Do I need to find space? Is this even a feasible idea? And I think that's the part where we are right now. So, that's why I'm asking, can this fit in the museum? Because it's a pretty big space. Can we put it in there? Can we fit these things in there?
I don't think we're there yet. Right? Do we have a layout of the museum and
Yeah, oh yeah, we do.
how much space we're going to be getting?
Yeah, we do. My answer to Councilmember Bernard would be yes, yes, and yes, but council would need to set policy as to who's included, who's not included, and so forth, so that the curator can go ahead and get the information. And this would be more of a virtual, not having sports memorabilia or anything like that within that space. But that is a plausible option. Now, timing-wise, I can't wait for it to go to commissions for 6 months and have community engagement and so forth. I would need to literally work with our consultants, curators, do the research on who's included, and get that programmed so that we're going to be opening here at the beginning of 2026.
Who do you think is going to be in that room to be having those discussions with your curator? Is that something that we need to bring back for a study session? So
it would be staff.
You plan to just bring it or do it without bringing it back?
So staff is working with the curator. You guys would establish the policy as to who is included in the Hall of Fame. We would then go and do all of the curator would do all of the research to bring that to fruition. If you want to go the route of the commission, I can't guarantee that it would be part of the library or the museum, but then where are you going to put the Hall of Fame?
I think this is way premature to be making any decisions on what this body should be moving forward with. Honestly, this is, like Councilmember Bernard said, this is the initial thought was brought, and we need to, I think, a study session or turn it over to one of the boards. They come back, then we do a study session and include everybody, or something like this is way too premature.
I think it's also unfortunate that the mayor who made the motion, who has the idea in his head as to what he was wanting, is not here to be part of the conversation. So,
But I think what we're hearing right now is that the overall concept of what was going to go in that front part of the space, we understand the virtual part of it, but we were told in the front of the museum we'd have like a traditional museum where we'd be able to show some of our history. We talked about the Historical Society, even like this, maybe we don't need to call it Hall of Fame because we think about sports with that, but like influential people of our past, Moreno Valley forefathers, that type of.
we are well into the conversations with our curator based on conversations with the Art Commission. There was also public hearing or public engagement meetings that PCS had with the residents and our museum consultants. And so we are already well into the design of those things.
So it is being discussed at the Arts Commission. Who's the liaison for the Arts Commission? Oh, him. So is this a ask from the commission that's coming?
PCS director had already met with the Art Commission. We had opened it up for public meetings and to ask them to come along with the conversation related to some of the space that we had talked about, because you guys wanted to be able to provide them a portion of that space. You also wanted a turnkey museum. So the museum curator is bringing you a turnkey museum. They're not going to go through your commissions. They're going to bring you the turnkey museum that you guys approved based on what you approved. Portion of that is going to include youth experience and youth engagement and having them be able to learn things at the museum. There's going to be an art section. There's going to be a historical aspect through the grotto that people will understand the regional historical impacts and so forth. So all of that that was part of the consultant's scope of work that was approved by this body is already well on its way.
So what I was asking was, because since we already have the space, so this is what I think is being lost. Because we already have the space, what I was asking was, would a Hall of Fame go there? Because everybody, we voted. Mayor was like, okay, well, let's look into looking at a Hall of Fame. So what I try to do when I'm looking at stuff is, what do we already have that we can utilize? Because we can vote and say, yeah, we want a Hall of Fame, but the question then becomes, where does it go? And so that's what I'm trying to, this is the force that I'm trying to give, which is, okay, fine. We could say, yeah, we want to do a Hall of Fame. Yep, we can run it through the Preservation Society. But your next question to follow up is, so where will it go? Because they can do all of that, but where will it go?
I think we've already established that question on where will it go? It's a possibility, right? Where do we go from here? What do you need from us today? Why are we even discussing this? What kind of direction do you need? Because it says, our two alternatives: approve and authorize the recommended actions as presented in the staff report. There are no recommended actions. The discussion was, this was brought by the mayor and then voted 4-0. So what's the recommendation? Where do you need?
So the recommendations are explore Moreno Valley Hall of Fame and provide directions to staff to implement the Hall of Fame based on a motion, a second, and a vote of council to do so. So just like anything that is motioned as part of future agenda items, we have to bring it back so you guys can have discussion. You then have to provide direction to staff to move forward with anything. I know it's been a few months since we've motioned anything, but
No,
this
I
is
understand
the
that
standard
part.
practice.
I understand that if we want to talk about anything, we got to bring it back, and I get that. Tonight, this is so premature. This is like like skimming the surface of this thing.
I'm only answering questions that are made of me and asked of me. Quite frankly, I don't have any skin in the game in this. It was a motion and a second and a vote on your floor. This is all up to you guys as to whether you want to set a policy, continue it, defer it, decide tonight. This completely lies with you guys.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I want to comment. So I think the idea is great. I think the Moreno Valley Hall of Fame can include, I think the original thing was kind of sports figures, but I think it could be expanded to members of the community have impacted Moreno Valley, you know. But again, is it premature? Should we explore it more? Should we make sure that those individuals that have impacted Moreno Valley, that it's inclusive, that it incorporates many things? I think we should do that. Now, a timetable, that's where, you know, should we go back to a commission? So I hear both of yours, Councilmember Delgado and Councilmember Bernard, from it being premature, but that's why we're having the discussion, right? But where should we take it? Should we take it to the commissions? Should we, you know, have discussions with the consultants? I think my recommendation is should go to the commission, but maybe on a quicker time frame, you know, so we can get some policies, some direction from there. That's my thought on that. But there's many members of our community that should be in this Hall of Fame.
Is it premature, or do we need to let you know now that we want something like this as you're speaking with your curator?
I would, I mean, if you were asking me, I would definitely want some parameters on policy of who's inclusive, who's not inclusive, what categories, what happens if someone does have an accident and had a DUI. Now, are they out? Are they in? You know, those types of things. And so personally, if we're going to do something related to a Hall of Fame, I would like council to provide the parameters to city staff, so that way
I
city.
definitely want to have
Yeah.
a majority council to be, even considered.
Yeah, so for my purposes, I don't think I need anything tonight necessarily for the museum. It's just wherever you ultimately
It
are
was
going to
just a
put this.
suggestion.
Yeah.
I think you guys were, it was just a suggestion because there's a number of things that need to be thought through. So this would be what I would think that we should go back and do personally. I think that we should, we should probably look into, we can send it over to the preservation if they have like what they determine they would want to, who they think would qualify, because I think you need to come up with the categories, what the requirements would be. That'd be one, too. The next thing that I think we would need to discuss after that is, okay, out of that, how do we make the determination? Would it be like there would be a vote that goes out and maybe it's whoever is popular? Would it be? So I think there's a number of things that have to go into this. I do not have a problem with this bringing us back, not as a future agenda item, but maybe a study session where give them 6 months, because maybe it doesn't go in the museum. Maybe it ends up in a storefront. Because, I've heard several speakers in here tonight talk to me about Riverside and what Riverside has. Riverside has multiple different museums and multiple different styles. So there's a number of ways that this can be designed and looked at. I think it's something that can be brought back in a later date, probably 6 months to a year, because it may take time since they already have some things. So I think that's what this agenda item is. Although I know we'd want it all brought back, unfortunately the mayor's not here. I think you prolong the inevitable, which is based on what I'm hearing everyone up here talking about. It would need to go back for some more clarification regardless about what would constitute someone going into the Hall of Fame, what would constitute what the different categories are.
So many different things that we need to discuss. So,
And like you said, the morality clause.
Yeah,
some
like there's
kind of
all
way
those
to
things,
remove-
and then we would need a policy to solidify it on record based on recommendations.
So can we just, how can we
we continue
continue this so
this?
that we can have this discussion at a later date
Or can we just make a decision now to send it over to the
Absolutely. Where do you want to send? Do you want to send it to?
The
Arts?
environmental historic, yeah.
HPC?
Give them 6 months
Because right
to a
now it
year?
sits in arts, right?
Well, no, right now it's not anywhere. It
No,
was-
the arts is only dealing with the museum. That's separate. This is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we move it
I
to
mean, if you were asking my opinion, I would say yes, it would be better in a commission, because right now, if we were to postpone anything, it would just be for the mayor to come
Well, right.
and be able to have more dialogue.
Okay,
Historic and preservation?
I'll take it.
Yep.
Okay.
And we can give them, I say anytime between 6 months to a year, because I know they have a number of things down the pipeline. December will be here before we know it.
Okay, so.
And then whenever they're ready, they'll let us know.
I understand that the motion is to direct staff to work with the Environmental Historical Preservation Commission to get this on their work plan and then bring it back once they're ready.
Yeah, I'm thinking we should probably have a study session to give them time to present it.
I was
So it
gonna
wouldn't just
recommend
come
that.
right before us. It would actually go to a study session, and that way they have more time to, yep.
And a lot of dialogue with the community involved.
So a study session within 6 months to a year? Within that
Yes.
time frame, study
Yes.
session for EHPC to come back after they've
Mhm.
gone through, developed a curriculum or protocol, to be able to present that to
So that we
council,
can-
along with, they would need to go through community engagement.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And it'd be a good time to let you know you do have a D2 vacancy on the Environmental Historical Preservation Commission.
Thank you.
Okay, so I would anybody like to move that motion that we just,
I second that motion.
second, okay, I'll move it.
Okay,
he'll
hold
second.
on. We have to make the motion.
Yeah, who originally made the motion?
Oh,
Okay, Shay's gonna
I-
make the
yeah,
motion, go
I
ahead and
did.
state it.
yeah.
Restate it or no?
Do you need me to restate it? You got it? Okay.
And second by Councilmember Gonzalez.
Councilmember Bernard,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilmember Delgado.
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Santa Cruz.
Yes.
Thank you.
Almost done. Next item is the Regional Commission Committee and Board reports. The first item is RCTC. We'll postpone that one till the next meeting. The next item is RTA by Councilmember Bernard.
Thank you. I'm providing updates on the RTA Transit Agency Board of Directors meeting held on August 28th. The board awarded an agreement to Bridge Rock Construction, Inc. to renovate 9 restrooms at the Riverside facility for a total project amount of $1.4 million. The board authorized staff to execute a change order with BSE Engineering, Inc. to provide architectural and engineering services for 6 additional electrical vehicle level 2 charging stations at the Hemet facility for a total project amount of $129,000. The next meeting is scheduled to be held on September 25th, and that concludes my report on the last Board of Directors meeting.
Thank you. The next report is the School District City Joint Task Force meeting held on August 19th. I gave this report at the last meeting, only leaving off that the Moreno Valley College reports that they have community dental services and they're open to the public from September to December, Mondays and Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to noon and 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. They provide free routine and deep cleaning services as well as additional dental work. So they are located at the Moreno Valley College campus on LaSalle, and they're looking for people to come and be clients to help their dental program get their hours needed. So that was one thing that I missed on my report from last month. Next item is M. Are there any employee association reports? Next item is N. City manager will provide a report.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. I'm honored to inform you that there's another award. It is the 2025 Beacon Leadership and Innovation Awards for Innovation in Clean Transportation. So Public Works, Fleet Maintenance, we currently have 39 electric vehicles within our fleet. We lead the IE in our energizing our fleet. And so this is just another award for fleet electrification. in the community's adoption for electric vehicles. So thank you for your leadership and your investments in the budget related to modifying our fleet as required by the state. Also want to mention that the next meeting, we will have a new Economic Development Director, Kyle Warzinski, will be starting this next Monday, and will be here on the 16th. He has over 2 decades of experience in local government, specifically within Western Riverside County, and he has been in a multitude of economic development, community development, and public works departments during his tenure and work experience. He's also got a master's of public administration at CBU, and he'll be a great addition to our team. So want to welcome him. And then Monday, September 15th, want to welcome all of our residents, and sorry for stealing all of your thunder in your public comments. Monday, September 15th from 6 to 10, El Grito. Please come on down to our CRC and as well as our amphitheater and celebrate in the Mexican independence. With that, that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Next item is the council closing comments. We'll start at the other end of the dais. Councilmember Bernard.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I would just like to thank all of the residents that came out to my, it was an early morning meeting at the library at 10 a.m., the Iris branch. I'd like to thank all city staff that came out. I would also like to thank one of the residents who came out to let us know about an issue going on with her apartment complex. So Ms. Nikita, I am still looking forward to having that meeting with yourself as well as code enforcement to kind of go over some things. I also want to, again, shout out to everybody whose children are back in school. Please, please, please slow down around the schools. I do know that the Sheriff's Department is out doing enforcement on those, just to kind of remind everybody to drive safe and be safe. As we just celebrated Labor Day, I want to make sure that everyone remembers that if you want to thank someone for a 40-hour work week, if you want to thank someone for the right to overtime vacation, please thank a union member. And we had a great State of the City. That was really good, well attended. As always, it was fun. It was nice to see all of the residents come out. I guess I will end it with something that I kind of always end it with. The same thing I always do. This is for Roy, because I know he's still in the area. One of 47's principles is to think big. So I'm gonna go ahead and think big for you, Roy, and talk about how you got to think big about how the president has decided that certain cities are unsafe and to take them over by using the National Guard. And so I'm going to mention that, again, authoritarian governments don't knock on your door and tell you they're an authoritarian government. They just start doing things like shutting down freedom of press or deciding things are illegal or whether or not they have to listen to the Supreme Court for a showdown, or telling Kilmar Abrego that although the judge says he was free, we're going to go ahead and pick you up and take you to Uganda because, why not? You don't speak the language, you're not from there, but we can always send you back there. So I implore everybody to please be conscious of what's going on, not just in California, because I think for too long in California, we're always protected by the fact that we live in California, that we forget that other places don't have the luxuries that we have. And even if you are conservative, the one thing I like to remind people that you can complain about the Democrats, you can complain about California being too blue, but you also have the luxury of still living in California. You're not choosing to live in any of those other places, whether it be Mississippi, which by the way has a pretty high crime rate, Jackson, but I don't see him going into Jackson or anything like that, or even some of the other red states like Tennessee. So, just pay attention to that. And so for that, I will always close in saying that democracy is something that you have to act for and compete for every single day. The Voting Rights Act that should have been repassed wasn't passed. By the way, my mom was born, she's gonna kill me for saying this, in 1961, which technically means as a black woman, she wasn't even born with the right to vote because that didn't happen until 1965.
So that is my history lesson for the day. And I hope you all enjoy the next week, because I believe we'll be back here for a study session next week. And with that, I pass it back on over.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to city staff for the great community engagement event at the Cupcake and Espresso Bar on Myrtle Beach and Cactus. It was well attended and got some great feedback from community members who had some concerns, but at the same time, they're looking forward to all the new developments that are occurring in District 3. So thanking the residents and, of course, the owners of Cupcake and Espresso and all the community members. And by all means, please attend El Grito. It's a great opportunity to, it highlights the great Mexican heritage of Moreno Valley. It's something to celebrate. Many of us come from that heritage here in Moreno Valley. So please attend and get a wealth of cultural experience there. Also, thanking city staff for all the great work they do with the CRMs that I've been sending your way. So thank you for being responsive on those items. And with that, I want to close and have a great evening and a great rest of your work week. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Delgado.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I just want to thank the staff for a great State of the City. You guys did great setting that up. I mean, you guys, in preparation for the pinnacle of that day, I've gotten so many comments that we set the bar. We, as in the City of Moreno Valley, set the bar for State of the Cities. I'm not knocking any other city. I'm just saying we set the bar for them to follow. So great job. You know, I think the name Pete Bleckert came up maybe no less than six, 7 times tonight. I did a tour of Edgemont with Pete. I picked him up at his house, and he wanted to show someone the history of Edgemont. So I raised my hand and I went. He told me all the streets that weren't being paved. He went through the history of Edgemont, which was really cool because I didn't know a lot of it. Well, about 5 months ago, or shortly after his passing, I drove Edgemont, and the street Brill on the corner of Day and Brill got paved. So all of Pete's efforts in bringing that topic up to City Council, to City staff, paid off. Unfortunately, he wasn't here to see it, but hopefully his son is here or outside or something. But that street got paved. I was so excited. I took a picture of it and I sent it to Councilwoman Baca Santa Cruz because it's in her district, and I said, "This is great for Pete." So I just thought I'd bring that up because he was mentioned so many times tonight. So I think he would be happy to hear that. So. My event, everybody's had an event, and mine is coming up. I had to move it 1 week, so it's September 25th at the Cupcake and Espresso at 6 p.m. No, 5:30 to 7. Cupcake and Espresso in the Sunweed Ranch for members of the community and more specifically District 2. So that's September 25th. And like Councilmember Bernard said, slow down. School's back in session. In my district, Pigeon Pass, we have a high school and a junior high on Pigeon Pass and Sunbeam Ranch Parkway. Right down the street, 2 burros were killed this weekend, and the city had to go out and remove them. And it wasn't because people are speeding. It was, unfortunately, we have to share the world with these our burros, and they have to share the world with cars. So just slow down and please pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to what's going on the ballot. I know we have a few things going on in November. Do your homework. Don't let anybody tell you what to vote for. Do your own homework. And I think that's the best strategy for you to make decisions for you and your family is you do your homework and find out what the facts are. If you listen to somebody, they're going to tell you their view of the facts. You have to do the research and find out your own facts. So thank you to our teachers. Thank you to our crossing guards, and all of the educators that are working so hard to keep our kids safe. And be kind to one another. We'll see you on the 15th at El Grito. Or as Brian would say, El Grito. Thank you. That's what he said.
I'm so sorry. From the dais, we apologize.
Ask him to say it.
No. Up next, Mayor Pro Tem Baca Santa Cruz. Oh, thank you. Just want to make sure I was on the right place with the agenda. My closing comments. First of all, thank you to the staff. Like Councilmember Delgado said, our state of the city was top notch. The preparation for the event, we literally just show up and read what's on the teleprompter. It is so well planned out. You wrote it? Okay. Read what Ed writes for us. So, but it was a fantastic event. I received compliments for the week after, and I'm just so proud of the work you do. So thank you for making us look good. I did finish my summer Fridays here at City Council. I spent my time doing a ride-along with police. I did a ride-along with Code. Chief Park, I know you were reassigned, so we didn't do our meeting, our ride-along. We'll make that up. I did visit the animal shelter, and here at City Hall, we have a lot of improvements that we're making here, as well as the city yard. So I really enjoyed spending my summer here with everybody. It's amazing how much work goes into running a city. It looks so easy for us as residents because it runs so smoothly that we don't see it, but there's so many employees here in the city that just make life great for our residents. So to all the cities, from the city manager down to our crossing guards, our E-team, everybody here at City Hall, the city yard, and throughout the city, thank you so much. We appreciate how much work you do, and this summer I got to see a lot of it, and I'm just so proud of the city that we have here. I also attended National Night Out. That was a great night to come together with community. Chief Mac was out there throwing water balloons and connecting with our residents, our kids. It's really nice to see the community policing work like that, especially at that day at National Night Out. So thank you. I look forward to doing that each and every year. And our fire was out there too with our fire trucks. It's just amazing how many residents come out to enjoy our events. I recently had a community engagement, so thank you to city staff again for coming and answering the residents' questions. They're always so prepared and willing to assist anybody that attends, so I appreciate your support in those events. I attend the Utilities Commission each month. Like I said earlier, we get an update, so this past one was about new equipment coming on. And how it's funded, the rates, and so a lot of good information. If you're interested in utilities, there are vacancies. The meetings are maybe first Mondays. They're in the evening though. So if you're interested, please look into getting onto one of our commissions. I also attended the Environmental Historical Preservation Commission. A reminder, we are running the city flag design contest through October. So if you haven't submitted your if you haven't sent in your submission, please do so. And if you've already done one, send another. We look forward to seeing these. The commission is not going to know the name or age of the person that will be submitting. These will all be blind judged. So I look forward to seeing the submissions. I also attended Parks Commission because I'd heard that the Dodger game for the city that I had talked about before getting on the commission, before getting on the board, is 3 years ago, is finally coming to. So please be on the lookout for a community Dodgers versus Angels game coming soon. And I also attended. We had a community cleanup. The Environmental Historical Preservation Commission has adopted a street. So if you'd like to join them for community cleanups, they'll be doing that throughout the year. And one of our commissioners, Riley, and I also joined the county supervisor and his community cleanup of District 1 here on Graham this past Saturday. So it's nice to be able to get out, and we get so many people honking, giving us thumbs up as this big group of kids is out there on a Saturday morning at 8 a.m. picking up trash. It puts a smile on everybody's face that goes by. So if you want to put a smile on someone's face, please come out and join us for our community cleanups. And nothing further. Oh, that is finishes my closing comments, but we need to move on to item P. Correct. Before closing this meeting. So are there any future agenda items that any of you would like to add? None. Okay, let me see. I think I have 2 written down. Yes. I had a question about the Citizens Academy. Is it open to anybody, or do they have to be 18?
Citizens Academy, as currently written in the staff report, is 18 or older.
Okay.
Resident is a requirement, and it's first come, first served. But there'll be multiple cohorts throughout the year. So if we had a waiting list, we'll just go ahead and cycle them to the next cohort. And it's a 6-week cohort.
Okay. One item that I did want to bring back that was raised and we've talked about it is the master attendance log for the commissions that we now have. I think that it is policy 110 section T says that the council, city council liaison, can we bring that back so that we could discuss having council liaison attendance also on this report? Oh, that's a motion.
I'll second that. I'm good with that.
Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Bernard,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilmember Delgado,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Baca Santa Cruz.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? No. No further. Nothing further on the agenda. We will adjourn, and I wanted to just say that I'd like to adjourn today's meeting in the names of the children who were killed at the mass school-wide shooting at the Church of Annunciation in Minneapolis on Wednesday, August 27th. So without any further, we're adjourned.